All right, welcome back. We've done a couple hacks videos recently, so we did some general backpacking hacks. We did some backpacking cooking hacks, and people requested that we do volume 3 for the hammock hacks. So today we're gonna go through all of our hacks for hammock camping. You know, we've been doing hammocks since 2016, and definitely if you're someone who is familiar with hammocks or you're just new to hammocks, hammocks are a much more technical setup than a tent and sleeping on the ground. You know, dialing in these hammock setups takes a long time, and there's a high degree of personal preference with how you set them up. So we have been like tinkering away for years and years, and we're gonna go through all our favorite hacks. But first,
you thought we were gonna skip this because we didn't have a tripod, huh?
No. You gotta like these videos, you gotta subscribe for all this amazing content. Hit the bell, because whenever we go live, which is pretty random, you'll get those notifications, and then, you know, head on over to iTunes to check out Backcountry BSing, the podcast. Leave us a review. All that helps us out, so appreciate it.
So, first hack, and this is something I've only done successfully twice, but if you're someone who does a lot of hammock camping, you're gonna wanna invest in a high quality pee bottle.
Invest in one?
So, first off, this kind of only applies to men, but they do make, I'll put a picture up on the screen. I saw this in hospice homes once, and then people started using them as, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So they make a contraption that's like meant for peeing while you sit down. You could buy them on Amazon. They're like $5, or you can use a bottle. Here's the deal. Getting out of these hammocks sucks, and if it's super cold outside, it sucks even more. You know, getting out of a tent, it's a little bit easier. You just crawl out, put your shoes on and go. Getting out of a hammock, you gotta unzip the bug neck, swing your feet out. It's super cold, put your shoes on, and doing all of that at night like really sucks. So figure out how to pee in a bottle. I know this is not a glamorous tip, but it's one with high utility, because if you can figure out how to do that, it makes the nights way easier. So that's something that someone told me when I first got into hammock camping, is like, learn how to pee while you're laying down. It is kind of weird, but it is super helpful, and it can save you a lot of headache in the middle of the night.
Next tip. Get yourself some snake skins for your tarp. And I'm actually kind of surprised that like tarp manufacturers don't just automatically include these.
I'm surprised a lot of people don't use these.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah. Get yourself some snake skins. So they serve many different purposes. They keep your tarp organized, and it's quick and easy to put away in the morning or unravel and set up in the evening. If you are gonna be like us and gamble on deploying your tarp, you know, sometimes we don't like deploying our tarps at night, so you can have it conveniently in your snakeskin, so it's easy to put away in the morning. And if you have to get up in the morning, or you have to get up in the middle of the night to deploy it, it's pretty easy. It just helps with organization. It helps with, you know, storage. It helps with compressing the tarp. So it's definitely very handy to have snakeskins, and I'm very surprised that manufacturers don't include this with tarps in general. Snakeskins aren't just a hammocking thing. Like if you carry a tarp and you're, you know, for like tenting, and you like having like a tarp for like a, you know, a hangout spot in case it rains, like, get snakeskins. Makes life so much easier.
I'm gonna second the snakeskins. I turned the camera around. The snakeskins are a game changer, and it's
get mesh snakeskins.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Don't get Dyneema ones, because your tarp will just mold inside with the moisture. Get mesh ones. You can even use pantyhose. True story. There's your hack right there. Yeah, loofahs, pantyhose. You can make a good snakeskin. There's a hack 2B. Moving on, and this is another hack I got from Shug, and one that it has made a huge difference. I'll be curious if you do this. So if you're sleeping on your back in your hammock, put something under like the crux of your knees. And what I normally do is I just take my clothing bag, all the loose clothing stuff, shove it all back in my little Dyneema bag for clothing, and I put that right under my knees. So that does a few things. One, it will eliminate any sort of calf ridge that you might be feeling from like a wonky hang in the tarp or in the hammock. That's probably the biggest helpful thing. But one thing I really like is that it makes it so you can't lock your legs. And if you lock your legs all night long, your legs are gonna feel tight. They might get a little numb and tingly, and I really don't like that sensation whatsoever. So I found that putting something under your knees, one, it makes the hang a little bit better in that it eliminates the calf ridge. 2, it keeps your legs from locking. And 3, I think it creates a more comfortable position when you're sleeping on your back to have like just a little bit of a bend in your leg. You don't want your legs like super locked out all night long. I don't think it's comfortable. So get something, take a clothing bag, whatever. You could use your pack if you really needed to, and just shove it right underneath your knees while you're sleeping on your back. You will be way more comfortable. Do you do that?
I do not.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
I'm a side sleeper in my hammock, and my legs don't like lock straight.
When you're on your side?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're on your back though, have you ever tried putting something underneath your legs?
I've tried it. Yeah.
All right, well, 1 out of 2 like that one.
Next tip, and this is kind of generalizing tips, and I'm happy to see other manufacturers kind of doing this too. But there's a lot of cool manufacturers out there that make awesome hardware that make your lives easier in a hammock. I'll specifically call out Dutchware because we use a lot of Dutchware stuff. But for example, we have Beetle Buckle suspension, we have Dutchware stingers, and we have Dutch clips. This all
freaking Dutch fanboys.
These types of hardware makes setting up your hammock a lot simpler and quicker and potentially lighter. And then at that same point, when you're getting a suspension system for your hammock, you know, you can get, there's lots of stuff out there. There's lots of options like daisy chains and that type of thing. We would certainly recommend getting some type of suspension system that you can adjust while the hammock is set up. So for example, with the Beetle Buckle suspension system, you can slide the Beetle Buckle up and down this cord to get it to the correct tightness, rather than like going to the next daisy chain. You can really dial it in with with some type of suspension system that's easily adjustable. So lots of cool hardware out there to choose from that make your lives so much easier when setting this stuff up. Like most tarps don't come with like any suspension, so people will just take lines and you'll just like tie them up, and then you know, you're unorganized and you got all these knots and stuff. Which if that's your thing, cool, but like there's so much cool hardware out there to make setting up your system a lot quicker and easier and lighter.
Also, I'm gonna butt into this hack. Dutch makes a lot of good hardware for deploying at the ends of your tarp. So there's like those tarp worms and those little hookworm devices. So Dutchware makes a lot of really easy, cheap, light hardware that makes all of this setup way easier. Tarp is deployed now, so we're gonna kick it up a notch. This is a really stupid little hack that I saw somebody do once, and I was like, that's actually really smart.
I think it was Frozen.
I think it was Frozen. So if you're a person who uses tie outs on your hammock, and sub hack, you should use tie outs for a variety of reasons, but you can save yourself a stake, and you can use the same stake for the tarp tie out and the hammock tie out. So it's kind of cool, you know?
Save some weight.
And you can do it on the other side too. So you can save 2 stakes. So that's like, you know, 10 grams, I don't know. But you should, aside from this, you should be using hammock tie outs. They reduce sway in the hammock. They pull it out so you have a wider hammock. That's kind of a good, some people don't use them. I don't know why. They weigh nothing. So use your hammock tie outs, and then put your hammock tie outs and your tarp guy lines on the same stake and save yourself 10 grams. That's, hey, you can bring some Doritos.
Next tip or whatever. Hack. If you can get a hammock with pack hooks, as those are these like little hooks that are on, you know, sewn into the hammock. If you can get a hammock with these on there, we highly suggest it. The reason being is that you can use these hooks to lock in your underquilt system. And basically, most underquilt systems you can figure out how to secure with pack hooks, and what this does is it helps prevent your underquilt from moving around on you. So meaning like you can lock it in place, so like in the middle of the night it doesn't slip or move, and then you get all these cold spots, and you got to get out and readjust it. It's really nice being able to just like secure your underquilt in one location. You see other hammock manufacturers trying to solve this problem by like having integrated underquilts into their hammock, which is a really cool idea, so nothing moves. But pack hooks are a good option. So if you're buying a hammock and the manufacturer offers that option, we would highly suggest it.
Another hack with the tarp, and Andy and I didn't have tarps with doors for a long time, and now that we do, something that's really convenient is you can use these lines from your doors if you have your doors, you know, shut, and it makes a really nice little clothing line, hang line. So we always would like dry out socks in here or dry out clothes, or if you just need extra storage space, this makes like a convenient little line to hang stuff from. And bonus, you've got two if you are closing the doors. So I thought that was really, it's just an easy way to dry out your socks, or if you need to just
if you're opening the doors.
Correct. If you have the doors shut, obviously you can't do this. But I think it's a nice way to both pin the doors back and keep them out of the way, and then you get a little drying line.
Next hack, and you see this all over the place. So, and by the way, most of these hacks are stuff that we learned from others as well. Porch mode. Everybody talks about porch mode. By using your trekking poles, and a lot of different tarps already have like hardware built into it where you can slip your trekking poles through. But using porch mode, you can really make your tarp more roomy and easier to like get in and out. So like at the end of the day when you set up your gear, a lot of times you've got a pack explosion going on and you're carrying gear back and forth to your hammock, and it's just easier when everything's a lot roomier in here. Not to mention if you get inclement weather. If you have your tarp in porch mode, you can have multiple people hanging out under your tarp because you're the smart one with a hammock setup. And then also when you're just asleep or going to bed or hanging out in your hammock, it's nice to be able to see out more. So take advantage of tarp camping in general. Porch mode is great, and it's really solid actually. So we do it all the time.
My little sub tip here is you should always use porch mode, but if you're using porch mode and it's raining really hard, I would take one of your sides and lower it. So Andy's kind of doing it right there. So you have a nice angle for water to drip down. Otherwise, you can have water start to pool up here. So if it is raining, lower one of your sides, or just better yet, like he did, just remove the pole, and so that way you get a nice little angle for water to drip down. And bonus, you can put a little mug down there and collect the rainwater to drink, as we've had to do before.
All right, next hack. This is something I believe I taught myself. I don't think I learned this from anybody, so this is original. So what I do with all of my tarp lines at night, so we have these friction tensioners, line locks for our tarp lines. And you know, if it's windy, if it rains at night and your tarp gets heavy, these will sometimes loosen up, and a lot of different types of suspension will loosen up too, just over the weight, and you know, so or they possibly could even like completely slip. I've had that happen before as well. So what I do before I go to bed, and actually right when I set up my tarp, is once I tighten them down, I actually add a little bit of a quick release hitch on the line right here. So
that is smart.
Let me do it again for you. So I add a little bit of a hitch right there, and that prevents the line from loosening it up, and then it's just really easy to undo in the morning. It just prevents everything from slipping and keeps everything nice and tight.
That's pretty nifty.
Yep. All right, well, like I said earlier, a lot of these hacks we have learned from others, so like they're not like original or anything, but we get a lot of requests to talk about hammocks, talk about hammock hacks all the time. We love talking about it. There's so many different things, and it's all personal preference out there. So yeah, put your own hacks in the comments. People love to read that stuff. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll talk to y'all later.